This is my attempt to solve the world's energy problems. Does it work? No, it doesn't. And that's pretty much where I threw in the towel. No giving up for this Austrian though. Not only does he survive this crazy fireball of a car crash, he actually returns to racing just 6 weeks later in the Italian Grand Prix. And he finishes 4th! I cancel all my plans when I get a bad haircut. Yeah, I'm sorry, but I have to cancel today. This guy has literally part of his face melted off. And then goes to win the World Championships in 1977 and 1984. You would think that's enough for a lifetime. But only 3 years after the terrible accident, Lauda, who always had a passion for aviation, he starts his own airline, Lauda Air. And with that, an even bigger challenge for him is yet to come.
No one on board knows it yet, but their flight from Bangkok to Vienna is about to turn into every passenger's worst nightmare.
What is only supposed to happen after landing, to slow down the airplane, happens in full flight at 24,000 feet in the air. The left engine goes into reverse, practically tearing the airplane apart in mid-air. And whatever is left crashes into the dense jungle of Thailand, claiming the lives of 223 people. It looks like the end of Lauda Air. The entire future depends on one question. What caused this crash, and is he to blame? Niki Lauda declares if Lauda Air or its pilots are at fault, he will resign and the airline will shut its doors. Niki Lauda takes on a fight with Boeing, because he thinks a design flaw in the aircraft led to the disaster. And as we have seen from recent events, Boeing isn't a company whose bad side you want to be on.
But he demands an explanation from Boeing as to why, despite his lightning-fast reflexes as a race car driver,
all 15 attempted recoveries in a flight simulator are unsuccessful. Niki Lauda eventually proves that his pilots are not at fault for the crash. Just imagine you're driving down the highway and all of a sudden your 2 left wheels go backwards. No matter how good of a driver you are, that is not going to end well. And I guess today with electric cars where every wheel can have its own motor, technically that could be possible. Maybe. And just like he improved safety for Formula 1 drivers after his race car accident, Lauda helps to improve aviation safety forever after this tragedy to prevent such disasters from happening again. I know that's not just Austrian stubbornness. It's called determination. Not giving up until you succeed. But how do you get that kind of determination or motivation? Are we just born with it? Either you have it or you don't. Because I don't think I ever worked this hard to reach a goal in my life. Especially not building a free energy generator. Maybe that's why my achievements are 0 compared to Niki Lauda's achievements. As a child, I believed that if I use a little bicycle dynamo and hook that up to a motor, the motor turns the dynamo and the power produced by the dynamo runs the motor, and so it just keeps running forever. And I guess that childhood curiosity and seeing all these perpetual motion machines on YouTube is what led me to finally try it myself. Well, if only I could build it right here in my living room. Oh yeah, I can. Let's be honest, it's a lot easier to stay motivated if you have Netflix in the background versus sitting in a hot garage. I also didn't want to crawl around in any junkyards to find components for this thing. I wanted to be able to either order all my parts online or go to Home Depot or someplace. And it had to look kinda decent. I just didn't feel like dragging it out of the living room and hide it somewhere every night. It's too much work. But coming up with a decent design was not easy. And spoiler alert, it didn't work. But because it wasn't easy, it felt good once it was done. Even proud. What I realized is that for some reason, the hardest things we do in life are the most rewarding. even when they end up in failure. And trust me, I had plenty of those. Started a rock band in my younger years.
You know, to impress the ladies. Failure. Tried rock climbing. Thought I'm gonna make a living as a day trader.
But were those failures? Maybe on paper, yes. But I don't see them as a waste of time.
Winning is one thing, but out of losing, I always learned more. So I got stronger in losing.
I don't even know if I had the courage today to move to the US with almost no English. But I did back then. I learned English by watching Seinfeld reruns over and over. No soup for you! Those are the real life lessons that money can't buy. And every one of those experiences shapes us. I used to think that motivation was the key, but I was wrong. If you ever try to get in shape, then this might sound familiar to you.
I lost count how many times I started running. Pumped up with motivation, usually right after watching a Rocky movie. I take off strong, then slow down to walk, and eventually quitting.
Because motivation fades. Even if it is something important to you, that initial spark doesn't last forever. What really matters is discipline. Discipline is what matters. When I started my YouTube channel, I wasn't exactly thrilled about writing scripts and filming and editing and creating thumbnails every week, but I wanted to give it a fair try, so I decided to spend every morning 1 hour working on videos. Writing, editing, planning out what I'm gonna film at night, whatever it takes. But I knew that I didn't have the willpower to jump out of bed when that alarm goes off. That's why for the first few weeks I put the alarm clock in the bathroom, because that way I had to get up to turn it off. Just do a little bit every day. You can take on any task as long as you just do a little bit every day. That's how you build a discipline, turns into a habit, and that's how real progress is made. You don't need motivation to brush your teeth every day, do you? It's pretty much automatic. You feel gross if you don't do it. And another important realization I made with this YouTube channel is don't overthink it. How many times do we hold back just because we're afraid of what somebody else might think of us? Who cares? As an engineer, I'm not supposed to build a free energy generator. It tells you right in the textbook that it's impossible. But you know what? The older I get, the less I give a shit. Whether you want to start a podcast, write a book, or create your own YouTube channel, just start. The longer you wait, the lower the chances that you're actually gonna do it. Your first videos will probably look like crap, and your first podcast will probably not sound that professional, but just don't worry too much what anybody else thinks about it. At least you're doing it. So what do you think? Was Lauda right when he said losers learn more? So let's go and build some good habits. Or maybe even more importantly, let's break the ones that only waste our time. And if you have tips how to build good habits, please leave them in the comments. Thank you for watching. See you next time.